Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome to a Popcross Studios reaction. Yeah, so I've gotten requests to do, to react to Popcross's stuff for a while now, actually. And the funny thing was, I actually discovered him a while ago, even just slightly before I started getting requests to react to his stuff. If I remember correctly, I think the first episode I watched was involved making, the Amazing Digital Circus characters into SCPs or something like that. It had something to do with the SCP Foundation and the Amazing Digital Circus. That's what I remember. And then after that, I've had him on the back burner purely because as I've said, I've gotten more than a few requests to watch his stuff. It's just all the stuff I saw coming up in my feed was, okay, that looks okay, but not really my thing, that sort of thing. But then this video came out a couple of days ago, and it's, what if Minecraft monsters were fantasy monsters? Now, I like Minecraft, and I have quite the soft spot for fantasy, so I mean, seeing one translated into the other, yeah, I can definitely get behind that. Okay. Also, I'm just seeing in the recommended thing on the side here, what if Disney princesses were kaiju? How did I miss that one? Okay, yeah, so, no matter what, I'm watching that one after this. I'm just trying to imagine, how you could, transform, Minecraft mobs into, fantasy mobs. Because, I mean, in some cases, it's really easy. I mean, you already have zombies, skeletons, very, very much dungeon mainstays and stuff like that, so I doubt you'd have to do that much change to them. And then, there's the Ender Dragon, which, was literally just a dragon. But then also thinking about it, so, I mean, I doubt he's going to do, domestic mobs like cows, pigs, chickens, foxes, normal animals. So that would leave, at least, the allays, sniffers, maybe villagers and illagers as well, maybe. You never know. Maybe that's, a whole, race sort of deal. Trying to imagine, with creepers, I mean, how they're depicted and how people depict them has varied over the years. Because, I remember way back in the day in, a game theory video, it was kind of suggested that creepers were actually almost like a living moss or a plant creature. That's, that's why they're green and stuff like that. But then I've seen other depictions of them where they're actually, actual, flesh and blood meat creatures and stuff like that. And how would you, depict them? Would you, depict them as, having four short little stubby legs, in game? Or would you have it, have them long and almost, spider-like? And also, and also thinking about, giant spiders, again, that's also a very fantasy type-esque thing. So really, the only other thing besides, creepers that you would really have, fun with depicting would be, as I said, the creepers and Endermen. So, yeah, of course, as always, original video is linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day. And if you like this video or any other video that I make, I'd very much appreciate it if you gave the video a like and subscribe to my channel, because my main goal for this year is to hopefully hit 5,000 subscribers. And at the current rate that I'm going, I totally believe that's possible. So, yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
Since the last episode I put out was very story-heavy and very emotionally heavy, I needed a follow-up episode that was just something light and fun and chill. So I thought, since the Minecraft movie came out recently, and I had a really fun time seeing it in theaters with a couple buddies, why not go back to a classic series from this channel and turn some of the creatures from the Minecraft movie
Iron
into
Golems, too,
beasts.
right, of course, how did I forget about them?
Let's go.
Hit like if you want, subscribe if you feel like, but either way, enjoy the show.
I recently returned to the mining colony Isles of my world. It was on this trip that I inquired about a drake with the ability to traverse between realms, as I had assumed it could teleport into a pocket dimension that the citizens of these isles often access. While my assumption about the creature I'd inquired about turned out to be incorrect, the topic did lead us to discussing an issue the locals of the islands have been having for a few weeks now. As it turned out, a faction of creatures that reside in the Nether Plane, often accessed for mining purposes, had been organized under a new leader and intended to take control of the Isles, wiping out or enslaving the current human inhabitants.
Jeez, okay, just already looking at this, I'm forgetting what the name of this mob is. I know he was from Minecraft Legends, if I remember correctly. But like, I'm real again, like just already, I haven't watched any of Popcross's videos in a while, and I forgot just he is a really good artist. But also just like some of the things he does, like of course, like giant tusks for giant pig, boar thing, however you wanted to depict the piglins, like really cool. I love that. Oh, but like these little mini ones that kind of like inverted the opposite way on the lower jaw, really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. And then on top of all that, you have the really long tail. Like, thinking about it, I honestly can't think of another time I've seen a pig-related monster that, had a long, actual, like, well, for lack of a better term, useful tail. Usually, like, if they're wearing pants, it's just, you don't see the tail, or they just have a regular sort of pig tail. Actually, wait a second. Now that I think about it, what kind of tails do warthogs have? Because I know they're not curly. Let me double check that. Oh, right. Yeah, they do have a long kind of tail that can stand up. What about a boar? Okay, very. Well, I mean, that's a warthog, but again, this is straight tail. Again, but so yeah, a straight just normal tail is average. But I mean, seeing one this like thick in comparison, like it's certainly different.
This of course has also made it very difficult to mine in the Nether. These creatures are referred to as the Nether Pigfolk, and one of the greatest weapons in their current conflicts with the Islanders is the Unbreakable Dire Swine. This creature was allegedly concocted through magic and armor under the watch of the Pigfolk's current leader, Sorceress Queen Mulga. It's unclear if the mutated pigfolk was forced into this procedure or did so willingly, but either way, he now obeys his mistress without question and no longer has the ability to speak for himself. He is now a beast stronger than the toughest foe the Islanders have faced. Even the captain of the Island Guard, Stephen the Bold, has gone toe-to-toe with this creature and nearly lost his life in the process.
Bold, love it.
It stands at roughly 15 feet tall, has massive tusks and teeth, along with immense strength. However, its most useful weapon is an armored gauntlet in place of its right arm that spews... well, frankly, I'm not entirely certain. It is a very hot purple form of energy that is somewhat like fire but thicker and more viscous. It is predominantly used as an impact weapon, but enough exposure to the energy it emits can cause serious burns as well.
Napalm. Greek fire.
It most commonly uses this weapon when at a distance from its foes, but it is difficult to say which is worse, dealing with those projectiles at a range, or facing its teeth, fists, and ferocity up close. Thankfully, this creature has a significant weakness that all pigfolk have. Possibly as a result of having lived their entire lives in the nether plane, these beings are unable to remain in sunlight for long without having their flesh burn and deteriorate. If they stay in the light long enough, they will even be driven mad, then become mindless, essentially zombified versions of their past selves.
Oh, so that's how you're doing that. It's not just, oh, there's a disease in the overworld. No, it's the sun. Interesting.
Their Sorceress Queen has created a formula from a type of crimson spore that grows in the nether plane, which allows them some brief periods in the sunlight, but as soon as this temporary medicine wears off, they must return to their home, find shelter, or risk losing their sanity and lives. Though I would not be surprised if the Sorceress Queen is currently working on a permanent version of this remedy.
That's to be expected.
Now, what's kind of funny about doing this episode, I only really thought about this after I started it, is originally my Minecraft Mobs as Fantasy Monsters episodes were taking very simple blocky characters and fleshing them out in my art style with, more rendering, more fur, or whatever else.
Yeah.
But because I'm adapting the Minecraft movie creatures in the movie, they're already very rendered. In fact, I'm almost making them cartoonier. I mean, not in terms of proportions and stuff, but in terms of rendering. Like, the fur in the Minecraft movie is really nice looking and very heavily rendered to look like real fur, even though it's on creatures that are proportioned to look kind of blocky like they're still in Minecraft. So the main thing I'm kind of changing in this version is the proportions of the characters and, still making it in my art style and putting my own design twists on it. I also saw in some of the lore, with the Minecraft episodes, I generally don't feel like I have to do too much research into lore. And
Man, I I was not keeping a very good eye on this guy while he was uploading, was I? Because I would have watched previous Minecraft episodes.
The movie, so I knew what I was talking about and knew what I wanted to change for my version. But I did see that this character that's called the Great Hog in the movie is called the Unbreakable in, I think, Minecraft Legends, and a different creature design is referred to as the Great Hog in that game. So I used the name Unbreakable because that's what he's called in one of the games. But really, like usual, I just tried to come up with a cool version of the name that would represent the character well enough and fit into the pre-established lore of this universe. Anyway, I'm quite happy with this one. I kind of give all the art in this episode like an A-, in the sense where I'm quite happy with how all 3 drawings turned out, but, you know, none of them, like, blew my mind.
Okay, honestly, like, again, from what I remember and just seeing this again, like, he is a really good artist. Like, I don't buy things like comic books that often, but, like, I would love to see and, like, buy a comic book in this art style.
But I don't know, maybe you'll all like it more than I do. Take a look at this one.
That's really good. Honestly, I find that a lot better than the designs they went with in the movie. Because, again, like, you know, fur and stuff, yeah, you know, the CGI, you know, simulation, stuff like that. The whole fact that, again, it's the whole thing, the combination of live action and having to make the original designs look realistic while keeping them square, again, it's so weird.
Just a warning that the next creature is technically a spoiler for the Minecraft movie. I mean, I feel like if you're watching this, you've either seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers, but just wanted to give that warning just in case. So, spoilers happening in 3, 2, 1, go. Part of the reason I returned to the mining colony Isles in the first place was because I'd been prompted by our world's current overseer, Toralei, that someone had teleported into our dimension.
I'm sorry. So, I wasn't sure what I was expecting, but is this supposed to be a flying iron golem? Like, because I'm looking at it, I see, like, the wings and on the feet, on, like, the shoes, I should say, and, like, the helmet has extra armor. Is that, like, diamond armor as well? Okay. Oh, God, you know what that makes me want now? I want a mod that doesn't just add, extra golems. Like, diamond golem, gold golem, stuff like that. I want a mod that allows you to upgrade iron golems. Like, you make them normally, but then you can, like, give them upgrades so they're like, the diamond or netherite armor for more protection. Give them gold so they attack quicker. Like, copper so that, like, they can be struck by lightning and get, like, temporarily supercharged like a creeper or something like that. That'd be cool.
Our realm is currently locked off to the Archon demons, preventing them from entering, but others are still able to come and go if they have the means to, such as myself and my multiverse-traversing allies. A boy named Henry had found an artifact in his homeworld that allowed him the ability to travel to other realms. He used it to come to ours, but instead of appearing at the nexus point of our world, oddly he arrived on the mining colony Isles. Thankfully, he has not been one to cause trouble, and in fact has been quite helpful to the residents of these lands. In his homeworld, the mining colony Isles resemble a popular electronic game, a form of entertainment we do not have here, but I have witnessed and briefly played in other realms. For him, getting to live out a real-life version of this game he enjoys allows him a level of creativity he has not experienced back in his own realm. To help the islanders in their battles against the pigfolk, he designed and helped build an enhanced version of the island's already existing defense forces, commonly referred to as the Iron Guard Sentinels.
Oh, God. I mean, I'm just... Okay, again, I'm gonna have to go back and watch those older episodes, aren't I? Drat. But yeah, so, I mean, looking at this, again, like, really weird, but then I see, like, this, and the first thing I see when I see this is, like, this... For me, this just looks way too, like, jolly, if I were to imagine this as, like, a remake or a redesign of an Iron Golem. Like, looking at this, like, with the posture and his, like, the big arms swinging as he's running, like, I almost imagine this as, like, it's, like, instead of, like, a robotic tone, he speaks like, Captain Underpants from the Captain Underpants movie. You know, just sort of that deal. Like, I can't imagine, like, something with this posture, with the super long arms and stuff like that, just being serious. Like, this just, it looks like it has a too goofy of a personality.
Henry's variation on them is both taller than the average Sentinel and has enhanced armor, giving it added durability and more ferocity to its strikes. Its greatest asset, though, is its highly elevated speed and ability to leap such great distances and slow its descent when falling to a point where it may as well be able to fly. The initial iteration of this design was even able to hold its own against the unbreakable dire swine, though did not kill the creature, it simply forced it to retreat from a village it was attacking. After seeing how successful this creation was, villagers began commissioning more of these sentinels to be made for other villages. Henry has now created 6 and intends to make even more, though he also has plans to try even more variations on the Sentinels to see if he can make one that can further turn the tide of the war even further in the Islanders' favor. He does not spend all of his time in our realm and does return to his own where his family lives, but with Toralei in agreement, I have given him permission to return to our realm whenever he so desires, so long as he continues to be an asset to the safety of the Mining Colony Isles residents. Now this was kind of a fun one because it was sort of a variation of something I've designed before, the Iron Guard Sentinels from episode 3, I think, of Minecraft Mobs as Fantasy Monsters.
Jeez, okay.
And I'll be honest, even though it's been a while since I did that original design, I think the 3rd episode of my Minecraft Mobs as Fantasy Monsters is the one where I kind of got closer to my current art quality. I think I might actually like my original drawing of it better. I mean, okay, technically speaking, not my original drawing, because I had drawn a version of it for the 2nd episode that I scrapped, but I showed the scrapped version in the 2nd episode, or in the 3rd episode. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, I kind of like the version that I did in episode 3 a little bit better than this one. I really like the pose on this one. I think it's fitting. It's more action-y. I like how the vines are kind of swinging up behind it, helping emphasize its movement, and even the light streaking out of its eyes is moving back to help sell the movement even more. But when I looked back at the design of the Iron Guard Sentinel from episode 3, I was like, oh, I went so heavy on the texture, I don't need to do that much texture. I feel like I was trying to show off or disguise any imperfections by just adding more and more texture. But then when I finished this one, I was like,
needs more texture.
This one probably could have used a little bit more texture. Also, to me, when I look at this one, even though I do feel like it's a pretty good adaptation of the Iron Golem, the Super Golem, whatever it's called from the Minecraft movie, it kind of looks like a Twitter Golem. Like the blue and white and the feathery kind of design just gives me vibes of the old Twitter logo. But anyway, overall, I'm still pretty happy with this one, though now we can move on to the drawing that is basically the reason I did this episode.
Chicken jockey!
Oh god, no. Again, maybe it's because I'm so used to Iron Golems just having, like, straight arms that never bend and stuff like that. But, like, seeing this, and, like, the fact it has not only one, but, like, depending on how you look at it, 2 to 3 elbows in its arms that are, like, really long and bendy. Almost like the, oh god, I'm forgetting what they're called, but like the robots from Asuka Castle in the Sky. I think that's what it's called. And just, again, again, I think it's kind of goofy, but, like, the goofy, like, run as it's, like, jogging, just, it looks so funny. Granted, I love the design. It is a great design. But, like, as something that is, like, based off of an Iron Golem, I just, again, find it really weird, really funny.
Quick interruption to say that unfortunately I can't offer posters from this episode, and you can't get any of the previous posters that I've put up anymore, because I found out today that Teespring has discontinued all posters, so I might have to figure out another online store to sell posters through or something like that. But if you want a whole bunch of my art in one place, you could check out my art book, Monsters of the Multiverse. That has tons of my different monster designs, including fantasy beasts, dragons, kaijus, demons, aliens, whole bunch of cool stuff.
A lot of dragons.
And if you want more of my art and storytelling, I have 2 books out currently. The most recent one is Mytholethal, a mythology action adventure, with over 40 pages with full color art along with the story, including exclusive art that I've never shown on the channel or anywhere else before. And then Vigilance, which is an anthology about the competitors of a superpowered sports fighting league, which includes designs for the main characters of the chapters. All those will be linked in the description, but for now, back into more Minecraft monsters.
Did that one guy have sort of like a giant version of the arm that the weird little monkey thing beside him had. That was really weird.
Let's go.
These isles are nothing if not filled with unusual rituals and events that various villages put on. One of these I was able to witness on my latest venture to them. One village ran a sort of combat trial arena inside an in-ground coliseum so that the residents of the village could all watch the battles within. They are purely voluntary to enter, nobody is forcibly put into gladiator-like challenges to the death.
Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. Like, I was going to imagine, oh, how's he going to do, like little baby zombie on a chicken? No, that's not it. He's going to have, like, a regular zombie riding, essentially, like a mutant version of a chocobo, isn't it?
Without their expressed interest, but it does give ample opportunity for the village guards to test their mettle against various creatures the villagers have captured, which those same guards may have to face out in the wilds of their home. I watched guards go up against several rounds of creatures before an in-training recruit leapt into the arena and demanded a challenge, despite the elders not believing him to be ready. His name was Garrus Garbin, and he was known to be a bit on the arrogant side, but was also easily frightened. After a few minutes of demanding his challenge, they...
Okay, so the way I'm seeing this is he's literally just a dude. Well, I mean, granted, a zombie dude, but a dude just sitting on the back of this giant bird. No armor, no nothing, just, okay, I see how this is going, okay.
accepted and decided to try and ensure this same sort of thing did not occur again. They wheeled in a wooden crate that was rattling and shaking and nearly toppling over. It was 8 feet tall, and from the sound, the creature within seemed as though it was pressed right up against its ceiling. Finally, the crate was kicked open, and the door struck Garrus, knocking him onto his back before even seeing the creature. What emerged set the entire crowd screaming with over-exaggerated delight, many even hurling their food and drinks around.
Yeah, I wonder where he got that idea from. Oh, God.
Which struck me as a bit inconsiderate to the people who'd have to clean up the arena and stands. Though, admittedly, it was intoxicating being in the midst of a crowd having such a raucous reaction to what was essentially a small zombie riding a large chicken. That is not technically what these creatures are. There's a tall breed of poultry-like birds on these isles called ostlins that can be found in the wild and on many farms in various villages. They are large and powerful enough that a human, albeit a smaller human, is able to ride them, though the creatures rarely allow this of any of the villagers. Strangely though, the ostlins are occasionally targeted by some of the undead beings to be found on these isles, not to consume, but to use as mounts. For whatever reason, the ostlins allow the undead to ride them, and follow their commands non-verbally as if they have a telepathic link to the undead being riding them. When an undead does find and mount one of these creatures, they may as well be bonded for the rest of their lives. When one dies, the other will often lay down and allow its own life to end. It is as if they consider themselves to be one single organism once they make a connection. It is an oddly romantic sort of notion, though is hard to have pleasant thoughts about, as these creatures and their mounts will tend to be very hostile towards the villagers.
God, again, like, thinking about it, like, that really makes me wonder, like, back when, you know, Notch was the main developer of Minecraft and stuff like that, what was the thought process behind, you know, the chicken jockey? Because already, you know, you have, you know, the baby zombies, which are just evil incarnate and super annoying to deal with. And then on top of that, one day somebody suggested that, hey, why don't we have a very small and rare chance that one of these things will spawn in riding a chicken? Like, granted, I mean, at the time, like, thinking about it, I think that was probably... When was the chicken jockey added, now that I'm thinking about it? 2013! Jeez, okay, so that's a while ago. Does it say anything about, like, why on the wiki? Yeah, okay, so, talk about search results. Whenever I try to actually look up, oh, why was the chicken jockey added to Minecraft, the game, like, all I get is stuff involving the movie and, you know, people screaming at movie screenings.
This is partially why it was very exciting for the islanders to see one of these creatures appearing in their arena for Garrus to battle. It was a rather fierce foe for him to take on in his first venture into the arena, and he fared quite poorly in the beginning. But Stephen the Bold is a somewhat reluctant friend of the young trainee and gave him some advice from the stands. With that advice, Garrus was able to defeat the undead and the Ostlin in a stunning turn of events that actually gave the elders some hope that Garrus could make a promising guardsman someday. Now, I don't care how corny or cringy it sounds, but every time I hear Jack Black say chicken jockey, I still find it funny, and I've heard it so many times now, and it was really fun seeing this movie in theaters, as silly of a movie as it is. It's one of those movies where I'm glad I saw it in theaters because I feel like that's the way to experience it, and my audience was not one that was like throwing food and bringing live chickens in. Me and my buddies saw it.
Wait, who was bringing that?
It was in theaters, so maybe people hadn't started going that crazy yet. And what was kind of funny, I watched back some of my own lore from this Minecraft Mobs' Fantasy Monsters series to remind myself of things that I talked about before, like undead creatures and whatever, and it's gonna be a weird jump for anyone that goes back to the original episodes after this, because how Tayrin talks, first of all, I feel like my cadence and my voice is a little bit different back then, but also Tayrin, our narrator, is still kind of surprised back then when magic pops up in his world. Like, when that series started, he'd accepted that it was kind of a thing, but he was still very skeptical of things like undead creatures being a thing, and now he's like, you know, he's fighting interdimensional demons in other realms and fighting techno-organic virus monsters and has a gopher with a ray gun on his team, so
what? I'm sorry,
you know, if
what?
there's an undead thing in his world, he's just like, yeah, sure, that's probably a thing. As far as this drawing goes, I'm pretty happy with it. I also realized after the fact I didn't really give this Ostlin wings, but also when a chicken has its wings folded up, it kind of just looks like they're part of its body anyway, so we could just say that the zombie's legs are over the wings, and they are kind of there.
Or, I mean, you could also say the Ostlin is almost like, you know, an ostrich, where it does have wings, they're just very tiny.
Added a few lines near the end just to, you know, give a vague idea of where the wing could be. But yeah, pretty happy with this one too. Overall, I'm pretty happy with everything in this episode, and I hope you all like the final drawing, so let's check it out.
Okay, so thinking about it, there's a question I want to ask, and anybody who actually has, you know, an answer to this, feel free to, you know, leave a comment answering it, but, like, where did this whole thing with, like, with, like, zombies or stuff having, like, flesh, like, connecting their upper and lower jaw like that, and what is it supposed to symbolize? Like, I had once thought that it was supposed to symbolize, oh, there's, like, a piece of flesh hanging in front of the mouth, and it's just sort of there, like, oh, you know. But no, I've seen so many various, like, depictions where it's literally like, oh, there's the flesh is, like, fused in that one spot, and there's just, like, this one part where on what would otherwise be, you know, in the normal area of the mouth, just sort of, like, partially connected. Like, I can understand it being, like, along the side of the jaw where there originally was, you know, the cheek and stuff like that. But it being in the front doesn't make any sense. Again, very nice design. Really cool. Definitely gonna have
If
to
you
go back
enjoyed
to
this,
the
you might
previous
want to check
ones.
out my full compilation of, I think, most of my previous Minecraft
Oh, the
Mobs
weather.
Fantasy Monster episodes. There might be
Ooh.
one episode after that or something outside that.
Oh no! Oh no! I didn't think he was going to be doing the normal animals. No!
Compilation, but I'll link the compilation in the description. But besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note, and the thought I want to leave people with today is a quote I read this week from a woman named Dr. Leah Katz, who I think I've quoted a few times. She posted a lot of good stuff. And she said that one of the most powerful things you can say to someone who's struggling is it's okay to feel what you're feeling right now. And this may even be something you need to remind yourself of if you're in a difficult spot. Allowing yourself to feel the feelings you're feeling instead of trying to repress them or distract yourself from them can help them go through you and probably help you learn lessons from them as well. Letting yourself feel something or letting someone else feel the thing they're feeling is a very compassionate and freeing thing to do for someone else or yourself. I hope that's inspiring. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next episode on Friday.
Jeez, okay, I have to look. So this was like 3 monsters. The other video had 15. I saw it there. Where's the playlist? Okay, so again, like, I definitely have to watch more of his stuff because he is a really good artist, and I love the little like stories he comes up with for his like illustrations and like the world building of this this alternate like version of things and stuff. Ah, lovely. So, but yeah, that's definitely going to be it for now. So, yeah, of course, as always, original video is linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video, link to my Let's Play of the day. And yeah, with all that out of the way, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.